Hi, I'm Alison. Welcome to my video. Here we have the nails I've already created using tips and some acrylic, clear acrylic. Now I'm going to go in and start my reverse smile line on the ring finger. Take your time doing this. It doesn't have to be a rush. Make sure you get it as perfect as you can with your brush. Using the belly of your brush to pat and press down, and making sure you've got a high enough wall to place any acrylic up towards it. Then go in with another bead. Here I'm using NSI Purely Pink Mask. Make sure you keep your cuticle area nice and thin. You need to keep it really tidy. Saves on filing at the end. And blend your beads together, and then you won't get a dip. It needs to be nice and flush. Okay, now I'm going to go on to the middle finger after I've tidied this up. Using little beads wherever you need it. Here we go, onto the middle finger, and I'm going to use the same product, the same colour, and I'm going to do like an obscure triangle just at the side wall going down to the free edge. Keeping again your cuticle nice and flush, nearly really thin, and try and create the shape with your brush as much as you can. Once it's done, you can come back in with your hand file and just refine those sides again. Okay, there we go. Then I'm going to go on to the index finger. This finger is going to be a full finger of white. I'm using NSI Radiant White for this. I'm going to do a one bead method. Make sure you get a full coverage of white. It's really difficult with some whites. They can be quite patchy. As you'll probably see in this video, I'm really pernickety when it comes to white. I like to make sure that there's a full coverage. So just go back in with really tiny beads so it doesn't overload the nail. You don't get a nice nasty thick nail. It needs to be quite thin with your colours at the bottom. I'm just going to go back in on that edge. Yeah, I really wasn't happy with that one, was I? Right, okay. I'm going to go back to the ring finger. I'm going to refine the smile line with my hand file. Refine it until you're happy. Make sure you push against your acrylic, not down onto the client because that will hurt. Because the tips are not stable yet. You haven't got enough acrylic on there for them to be stable. Remove any dust. And really just keep filing until you're happy. In my salon, the motto is, if I'm not happy, it's not going. You're not walking out the door. Now I'm going to pick up a small bead of clear acrylic and put it into my glitter. This is called Laser by Stargazer. Mouthful. I got this at the XL Beauty Show in London. I will try and find a link for their company and put it in the information box below. So I'm just going to pick up small wet beads and dip it into the glitter and feel the free edge. When you're going up the wings of the nail, make sure you try and keep it as neat as you can and don't go up over onto your base coat. So like in my case it was the NSI Purely Mask, the pink one. Pattern press everything. If you feel that your glitter is too dry, you can just pop a little bit of wet clear acrylic on there just to make sure it sets nicely and stays where it's put. Try and keep get everything as neat as you can. If you do get anything over the acrylic there, you can just put your brush into the monomer and try and wipe that off and keep it as clean as you can. Okay, I'm going to go back to the middle finger now, refine that smile line with my hand file. It's easier to do these shapes because obviously it's just a straight line. Okay, after I've refined this, remove any dust. Then I'm going to pick up a small bead of clear acrylic and dip it back into the glitter. And I'm going to come in and create a line up against that line I've just created there. Try and butt it up as tight as you can to the thickness that you want. If you want a nice skinny line or a fatter line, you know, make sure that you do it at this point because you can't go back after you've finished with the next step. Okay, anything you don't like, just take off. And try and keep it the same consistency the whole way down. So the same thickness, the same height. Try and take off any excess glitter so it doesn't contaminate the next step, which you'll see in a minute it did, but we managed to rectify. It's fine. Okay, now I'm going to go on to the little finger, and this is going to be a full coverage of that glitter. It's absolutely gorgeous glitter. The camera doesn't do it justice, to be honest. Now I'm going to mix that a little bit on the nail because it wasn't completely saturated with the clear acrylic, and then just pat and press all the way down the nail. Keep patting and pressing so it's nice and thin and you get a full coverage because you don't want thick nails. So using the belly of your brush, keep patting that down. Just going to come in at the bottom here, cover that bit, and then swipe it back up towards the cuticle. I do find it easier working on people than I do this hand. Okay. Now I'm just going to get ready to start encapsulating. Oh no, I'm going to put the white on this one. See, I don't even know what I'm doing. So refine that line with your hand file, take off any dust. That should get rid of any glitter as well. And I'm just going to come in with a radiant white from NSI. Now you find I've got glitter in my brush. That's what the problem is here. So I'll get this bit done. And then I clean out my brush again. And this time I believe it's pretty much gone. It's good. So after I've done this bit, I'm going to come back in with another another bead of white. I'm going to go from the middle, take it up to the top, right into the corner, keeping it as clean and neat as you can, up to the side of the glitter, following it round, keeping it nice and clean. Remove any glitter particles that you do see, if you can. And then just a small bead at the edge where the glitter is at the bottom, at the free edge, just to make that nice and tidy. Lovely. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the index finger, or your pointer, whatever you call it. And I'm going to use a small bead of clear acrylic with the same glitter, put it at the cuticle, and drag that down the nail. You can move it around until you're happy with it. I normally take it halfway, 3/4, but whatever you're happy with and your client's happy with, obviously. Now I'm going to encapsulate. I was a little bit quick there. There we go. I like to use my clear acrylic really wet, and then you know you get a crystal clear finish. Because if it's really wet, you won't have any bubbles, any ghosting. It is beautiful. And this will be the same with any clear acrylic. Keeping the cuticle nice and neat again. This is where you're going to put in your apex. That gives you structure and strength. And on the next finger, we're just going to do the free edge. Keeping that as clean as you can. Doesn't matter if you do go over onto the pink colour, your base colour, because you will be filing that off when you get to your filing routine. But still, keep it neat, keeping your shape, and it's less for you to do at the end. There we go. Okay, I'm not going to encapsulate this one, I'm just checking that it is set. And then we're just going to encapsulate the index finger. All products will be listed below. Okay, now I've filed off camera, and this is your finished result before we put on our top coat, which today I'm going to use Gelux top and base coat. But before I use that, I am going to get my gel residue wipe off solution, and I'm going to take off any dust from the nails. That helps with adhesion of the gel, and then you won't get any lumps and bumps. There we go. And oh, look at that glitter. Oh, it's beautiful. Okay, so you can see that's drying out already. Make sure it's completely dry before you apply the gel. So once you've applied your gel, make sure nice around the cuticle and that you cap the sides and the free edge. It's lovely. It's lovely, lovely, lovely glitter. This one came out better than I expected, to be honest, which is good. Okay, now I'm going to put the nails in the LED lamp for 30 seconds. UV lamps are a minute. Make sure you've got nothing on your brush before you put it back into your gel pot, because you don't want to contaminate your gel. Okay, and there's your finished look. On a human client, we would now put cuticle oil on to nourish the cuticles, and obviously I don't do this with this hand. Take off your sticky layer with your gel residue wipe off solution, and all done. Thanks again for watching. Hope to see you soon.